Hi, we are Girlcrush, and this is Queer Talks.
I'll let you walk all over me.
We like to talk about queer issues because the gay agenda is a big part of our artistic vision. And today we are going to talk about the B in LGBT+, which stands for bisexuality.
Woo! Perfect! Let's start setting the terminology straight.
Or gay.
Or gay.
In the queer movement, there are a lot of terms that some people, or that can be hard to understand. And the reason for that is that we are trying to find language to describe our lives, and it can be confusing because it is confusing, and we're all confused together.
So an umbrella term for describing all the sexuality that's in between gay and straight can be called the bi plus umbrella.
And we feel that all three of us are under that umbrella.
So the terms that could be under that umbrella is bisexual, pansexual, polysexual,
Biromantic?
yeah,
There are lots.
yeah.
This is not the extent of it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of sexualities under that umbrella, and
Yeah.
we can't possibly account for all of them.
Yeah.
But we can account for the sexuality we have ourselves.
Yeah.
So I identify as bisexual, but I'm attracted to more men than women. So if we look at bisexuality as on a scale where we have like men here and non-binary people and women here, maybe I lie somewhere around here.
Okay. I identify as bisexual as well, but I think pansexual would also fit. I like femininity, and I'm more attracted to women and queer people than men. But men can also be nice if they are nice.
Yeah.
So I identify both as bisexual and pansexual depending on who I'm talking to, because most people know the term bisexual and you don't have to explain it. But pansexual is more fitting for me because pansexuality means that you're attracted to every gender, and there's not a difference in the way that you experience that attraction. Whereas when you're bisexual, you're attracted to your own gender or other genders, and that you experience a difference in that attraction.
As far as I've experienced so far, I don't feel very many romantic feelings towards women and non-binary people. So there's you can also be bisexual without experiencing romantic feelings towards the same.
Or you can be biromantic and not bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tricky.
Was that too confusing?
So, a lot of people think that being bisexual is a phase that you're going through. For bisexual men, people often think that they're just really gay and they're just saying that they're bisexual because they don't want to come out as gay, and it's like a stepping stone to coming out.
Like the gateway drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for women, it's often that, oh, you're not really bi, you're just straight and you're trying to be interesting because two girls kissing is sexy.
Yeah.
Another prejudice is that bisexual people are very promiscuous and have a lot of sexual partners.
And then bi people always cheat.
Which can be true, but but isn't necessarily. There are bisexual people who only have one sexual partner for their entire lives, and they are still as bisexual as people who have lots of sex with lots of people. Okay, so gay washing and straight washing are terms that describe bi erasure in either direction. So if you're straight washed, then people assume you're straight because you have a, you know, a like straight appearing relationship. Or gay washing is when people assume that you're gay because you have a relationship that appears gay.
It's also a misconception that if you're a bi woman, for example, and you're in a relationship with a man, then you're not bisexual anymore, which is wrong, because obviously you still have your sexuality even if you're in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, and I feel that specifically is a big problem in the queer community. So we both experience these prejudice in the queer community and then the straight community. So yeah, there's not even a safe haven in the queer community. A safe haven. we need the safe bisexuality heaven. Wow.
I feel what kind of prejudice have you experienced personally?
Well, mostly by erasure, I think, because I'm often with men. It's just, maybe it's not that much prejudice. It's just that my sexuality is not really seen and not really asked about. Yeah, and that can feel bad.
I feel similarly. I feel like people around me don't really give that many fucks, or like don't want to talk about it, or just pretend that it's not important or it's not a thing.
Yeah, and also that it's not difficult being bisexual. The only like difficult sexuality is gay.
Yeah, because you could just pretend to be straight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
Told them the bad behavior wasn't
I don't know, there are political issues about being bisexual as well. It can be a lot harder to get, what's it called?
Asylum?
Yeah. If you're from a country where it's illegal to be gay, if you're bisexual, you have a harder time leaving that country for those reasons.
That sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because people understand bisexuality as being 50% straight or 50% gay, which is not how it works.
For some reason, it's just difficult to grasp that you can't fit people into one box. That it's sort of like in between,
and can be lots of different things. And that's kind of the whole point, and also the beauty of it, I think, because there's room for so much diversity.
And it took me a long while to actually accept my own bisexuality, because I had like a fixed idea that you had to be like 50-50% attracted to men and women, and I didn't even think about non-binary people in that sense, because I thought that bi meant like two genders, right?
I remember when I started feeling attraction towards women, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm gay then. I guess I'm a lesbian. That's the only plausible explanation for these feelings I'm having. And then I was still attracted to boys, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm broken. But then I found out that bisexuality is a thing.
I think I was quite fortunate because my parents had a friend. Her name was Monica, and she had both male and female partners throughout my childhood where we'd known her, so I kind of seen it from when I was very young, and my parents sort of talked about it in a accepting way, which I think that made it kind of easy for me. But when I came out to my parents, they were just like, they didn't really ask about anything, or which I guess it's fine, but they just sort of saw it as a normal thing because they had known other people who were bisexual, which is a nice thing.
That says something about how representation is a very important aspect. Like in cinema, for instance, there's not a lot of representation of bisexual people. It's mostly gay men, I think. I see in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that, of course, makes it more difficult for people who struggle with finding out what their sexuality even is.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if there is a bisexual person in a movie or something, they'll just they won't mention that they are bisexual. They'll just be like, oh, she's experimenting or whatever.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
won't like put the label on it, which is kind of helpful when you're
Yeah.
watching it to put that label on it.
Mhm.
Put the word.
There are more bisexual people than there are gay people. The
Yeah,
percentage-
Yeah, they're
that
the
is
biggest
true.
part of the LGBT community.
Yeah.
So it's kind of strange that there's so little representation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad. What was the outro?
It was supposed to be something positive.
Yeah, so yeah.
So should it be something about how we would like people to?
Yeah, that was a good,
Yeah.
like how we would like to be approached about
Yeah.
it.
About it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
This is so.
Downton Abbey. It ruined me. Yeah. Leave me alone.
We love talking about being bisexual. please,
Please just ask.
please talk to us about being bisexual.
But I think in general, maybe the takeaway from this video could be that don't assume people's sexuality and don't assume people's genders, but ask instead.
Yeah.
So, and if you ask in a polite way, people will reply in a polite way. And if someone doesn't want to talk about it, that's also okay.
Yeah.
But usually, I think people like being asked about these things because it's a visibility that we so desperately want.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us talk.
We hope that you learned something new.
Yeah.
This was Queer Talks. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Stay tuned.
Listen to our music on Spotify. Like, subscribe, click the bell button. What do these YouTubers say? Yeah,
That's what they say.
that is what they say.
Yep. Leave a comment.
Bye.